What's up, folks? I'm back, trying a new camera angle, trying new lighting, not wearing glasses, etc. I think the lighting is less harsh. I've been very tired. That's why I haven't posted. What is today? Today's Monday, right? Or is today Tuesday? I don't even know. Today's Tuesday. Today is Tuesday. I've been tired because work has been crazy. I've been tired because I've been exercising more. I've been doing weightlifting once again. Just doing a lot. This probably will not be a super long video, but one of the things that I did want to talk about was this wacky UAP stuff. I don't know if you've heard about this, but for about the past 2 weeks, there have been incursions by these drones over US and UK facilities that station nuclear weapons and nuclear armament resources. This is not a new thing. UAPs have been interacting with nuclear facilities for quite some time. If you look back into it, there is a long and storied history of this with very credible eyewitness accounts from reputed military officials, both on and off record, both under and out of oath, off oath, without oath. But these particular drones are interesting because there have been some press conferences about them. It's been happening for about 2 weeks now. And the government has been asked, do you know where these drones are coming from and are they a threat? And the US government has had some really strange answers to that. They've said they don't know what they are. They're treating it like a criminal investigation, but they're confident that they're not a threat. It's a little hard to reconcile those two things, although if I do some gymnastics in my head, I do think that I can. So I just kind of want to walk through some of the different permutations about what might be happening here. Kind of like obvious permutation one is that these are foreign adversary drones. There's a lot of stuff happening geopolitically right now, and it's interesting to think about what that might mean. If these were conventional drone technologies, conventional drones generally cannot travel intercontinental. So they can't come from Europe to the United States without being carried by something, which would mean that if these were conventional drones from a foreign adversary, they would need to be launched from a ship or submarine, or perhaps stored here domestically somehow. If that were the case, I would think that the government, the US government and the UK government would be able to follow them to their source of origin and then would have a pretty good idea about where they come from. But apparently that's not the case, or the government isn't willing to admit that's the case. So kind of moving on from that theory would be a foreign adversary with some sort of novel advanced technology, which is a little bit more concerning. But personally, I kind of feel like if that were the case, and if a foreign adversary were able to kind of lord over us with impunity like that, I would then guess that it would be an extension of the dynamic that we have right now with nuclear weapons and likely cyber weapons, which is that the offensive capabilities of these nation states has far outpaced the defensive capabilities of the nation states, which means that no nation state is willing to engage fully because they know that it would be mutually assured destruction, because there's no way to adequately defend against these new technologies. I actually think that's pretty likely, because that is the state of things with nuclear weapons and likely with cyber weapons. If you are interested in cyber weapons and want to learn a little bit more about that, there's a very entertaining and educational documentary called 0 Days that came out a few years ago. It focuses on the Stuxnet stuff with Iran and likely Israel and the United States. Very interesting story. It also goes into more detail about cyber weapons in general and the fact that there are basically no treaties on the books for cyber weapons. This is something that's really concerning me because, an ICBM, you might have a couple hours notice. A hypersonic missile, you might have like 30 minutes notice, but cyber weapons in theory could be instantaneous. And let me tell you, the state of infrastructure right now is precariously vulnerable. It's just really shameful and appalling, the state of industrial and public infrastructure. There's a lot of stuff connected to the internet that really shouldn't be connected to the internet. Tremendous number of zero days being exploits that are not patched, that are unknown to or have not been remediated by the maintainers of the infrastructure or the software or the system or whatever it is. Moving on from that theory, the next theory, of course, is maybe there's something domestic. Maybe they are like advanced or conventional technologies that are domestic and they are part of the NATO arsenal or the US arsenal or the UK arsenal. This is a compelling theory because it would mean that they just don't want to tell us what these things are, but that they have control over them, whether the mainstream military at the base is aware of what they are or not. This is interesting because I've been concerned about drones for a while. Ever since I watched that Black Mirror episode, I don't remember what it was called. I didn't watch any more Black Mirror episodes, but it was that episode where there were swarms of drones with explosives used to kill political dissidents. That freaked me out and made me depressed for a couple days when I watched that. Actually, was it a Black Mirror episode or was that some sort of PSA? I don't know. I don't remember. It was rough, whatever it was. So what do you do with drones? Because there can be a large number of them. They are unmanned. They might be semi or fully autonomous. So you wouldn't have as much oversight into the way they behave and the actions that they take. So what would you do to defend against drones? Well, in my opinion, you would probably deploy drones. So I think that's a very compelling argument for what these things might be. They might be like some sort of defensive drone posture to preclude the potential of foreign adversaries deploying drones. And then, of course, everyone's favorite scenario, NHI, non-human intelligence, which is the politically correct name for aliens, extraterrestrials, what have you. But NHI covers more stuff. Species that are terrestrial from Earth, whether that be from the future or the past or the present, covers non-biological intelligence, such as artificial intelligence, again, from the future, the present, or the past. Also covers like interdimensional intelligences that might be coming from Earth, but from a different vantage point. As far as I'm aware, these drones, these UAPs over the bases, have not demonstrated any of what UFO enthusiasts call the 5 observables. I don't remember what the 5 observables are, but long story short, the 5 observables are basically like, hey, they're doing things that we can't explain. The traditional UAPs interfering with nuclear facilities have demonstrated the 5 observables. They've done things that we can't explain, from like zipping off quickly to appearing quickly to having no visible propulsion to being able to arm or disarm the weapons, intercept ICBMs traveling at multiple magnitudes of the speed of sound. Personally, when it comes to NHI, I believe that NHI exists. I certainly believe that UAP exists ever since David Grush came out and some of these other whistleblowers, or I don't know if you want to call them whistleblowers, but just truth tellers, because some of them are following the appropriate channels or the official channels like David Grush. I've become more and more interested in the topic. I have a relatively pessimistic outlook on the human race right now, unfortunately. I am a believer in climate change. I do believe that it is man-made. I do believe that we are in deep trouble. And I kind of hope that NHI and UAPs can kind of swoop in and save the day and say, here's some 0-point energy that provides infinite energy. You don't have to fight anymore. That's my secret hope for humanity, is that NHI provides us the goods and we can move on from a scarcity-based mindset. So those are some of my thoughts about that. I am eagerly anticipating what is going to happen and what will unfold with the story from the UAPs and these bases. There have also been all these interesting sightings of UAPs over New Jersey, which is ironically, I guess, where the War of the Worlds started. So that's something. I feel like something is underfoot. Basically, just evaluate the evidence as it comes. Try to keep an open mind. Stuff is weird, though. Stuff is weird. No doubt. And I want to talk more about this subject on this channel, but it is not the predominant topic of this channel, but yet just one of the things that I've been thinking about lately. And potentially the only thing that I really have to talk about in this video at the moment, because I am quite tired and I do think I'm going to head to bed shortly. I am actually I'm excited about this. I'm waiting for more stuff for my podcasting set. I am putting together a interview set with a couple of chairs, nice backdrops, things like this. I want to start bringing in people that I know, friends, acquaintances, people around the city, to talk to them about what they've got going on in their lives. Hopefully all of that will be assembled and put together by sometime in the new year, like in January. That would be fantastic. I'm not going to put a lot of pressure on myself because work has been crazy. There's a lot going on in my life. But you will certainly know when I have a guest. And I'm looking forward to when that time comes. So, good night.